right now. Very pleased to have with us on the program Jonathan Ryan and his attorney, Mark Betterow. Mr. Betterow, thank you both for coming on the program tonight.
Thank you for having me.
And Jonathan, first of all, congratulations to you, sir, on the verdict yesterday in Manhattan.
Yeah, I appreciate that. It was an exciting day for a lot of people.
And you most of all, I'm sure. Mark, let me ask you a little bit about this case.
Sure.
Your client was on his way to help his girlfriend move in Queens, as I understand it. Made
Correct.
a wrong turn, ended up in Manhattan, made a right on red, which I guess you're not allowed to do in Manhattan, was pulled over.
Only place in the world you can't do that.
Well, now I know. I am well aware after Mr. Ryan's case. And had forgotten that he had a firearm stored in his, was it the glove box?
Yeah, I mean, it's a gun in the glove box that was purchased about 2.5 years before, was lawfully stored, pursuant to the Florida requirements. And it's just something, I mean, the law is very simple. You have to knowingly possess the weapon in the state of New York, and knowing means conscious awareness. You're literally aware of its presence, and when he came to New York, he wasn't. It's not the kind of thing that was anything that he was thinking about, and the jury focused on that issue rather quickly, as you indicated earlier, and that was that.
So the issue then hung upon whether or not Mr. Ryan was aware of the gun in his car.
Right. I mean, the law uses the word knowingly, which just simply means aware, that he perceived it and was literally conscious of its presence. And the testimony in the case and all the evidence was quite clear that he didn't. I mean, one of the, I think, critical points is the way the facts came out in the case when he went to retrieve documents from his glove compartment at the request of the police. He never said anything such as, "Officer, there's a gun in the glove compartment." One would think when you have two armed police officers sitting on either side of your vehicle that you would be inclined to, if you were thinking about the presence of a gun, you would tell them before you just go open the glove compartment and, to the perception of the police, just reach for a weapon. He didn't say anything, which clearly suggests that the gun was not on his mind, because any reasonable person would tell the police there's a gun in the car in that situation.
Jonathan, you were facing, if the jury had come back with a guilty verdict, 3.5 years in prison. I cannot imagine what that must have felt like to have that hanging over your head.
Yeah, no, it was really tough on me, tough on my family as well. It wasn't easy, but it was kind of one of those things where it's one day at a time, one step at a time, and I had faith, and I believed in my faith. It would keep me strong. I believed in my family, and I believed in my lawyer. And if we just stayed with what we were talking about, which was hey, it was an honest mistake. I didn't think about it. Deep down inside, I knew I was innocent, and all would work out. And thank God it did.
The DA yesterday, Cy Vance, defended this prosecution, Mr. Betterow, and in essence said, look, anybody who's in possession of a firearm in New York City, that's a dangerous thing. I mean, it certainly sounds like the DA learned nothing from this quick verdict from the jury. What do you think we should take from the fact that a jury came back in just a half hour and said not guilty?
Well, I think the comments and the timing are unfortunate. I mean, I certainly have great respect for Mr. Vance, but a 30-minute acquittal on these facts, that's not common, as you can imagine. But a verdict that quick, that's a repudiation. That's not just a not guilty. That is a statement. And what's unfortunate here is that it doesn't appear that discretion is being used in enforcing, these so-called Bloomberg gun laws. You're talking about 3.5 years in prison for somebody who is the farthest thing from a criminal, and there's got to be some level of discretion that's used. And there are some other cases out there that are similar to Jonathan's. We're not talking thugs with guns running around New York trying to do crimes. The purpose of the New York gun laws is to get the bad guys. It's written into the legislative history. Get the murderers, get the robbers, get the bad guys. And when people like Jonathan get trapped in this system and they simply say it's a gun in New York, send them away, that should be troubling and disturbing to anyone. And, as we told the jury, that should really disturb you. They're trying to criminalize a mistake. That certainly worries me, and it should worry everyone.
Absolutely. Was there ever a plea bargain that was offered by the prosecution?
Well, there was quite a history of that. Initially, they wanted 2 years, which is the standard offer for basically anyone in these situations. If you recall that we discussed last year, there was a pretty complicated motion to dismiss the case, which ultimately was denied. But in denying the motion, the judge issued a very interesting decision because she literally writ into the decision that incarceration was not appropriate, which is quite a statement in and of itself as
Yeah.
a judge to essentially say, whatever I'm going to do or not do at dismissing the case, it's not a jail case. That did not have any effect whatsoever on the DA, unfortunately. And to the very end, this to them was incarceration or nothing. And that was something that Jonathan was never going to do. And these are tough decisions. 3.5 years is a lot of time to put on the line. But we went forward. We thought it was the right thing to do. Thought we had a good defense. And again, within 30 minutes, they agreed.
I had to say I'm shocked that their their lowest offer still included incarceration, because a year ago, Jonathan, right after your arrest, the New York Post ran a story in which they talked about the fact that over half of the people who are charged with illegally possessing a firearm in New York City walk away with no jail time whatsoever. They're sentenced to simply probation. Do you think that you were being used as sort of an example for others?
I'm not going to get into speculating. It's hard to say. All I know is, they were coming after me. It was quite obvious. They never really seemed to want to negotiate with Mr. Bedrow, and I know he reached out several times, and we were back and forth with conversations trying to work something out. So they might have, but like I said, for me to say that for fact, that would be unfair.
Yeah, yeah. All right, we had a couple of people ask this question last night. Have you gotten your gun back, Jonathan?
No, sir. I have not gotten my gun back.
Are you planning on trying to get your firearm returned to you?
To be honest with you, sir, that is the last thing on my mind right now. I just flew back to Florida today. Got up at 4 a.m. to catch an early flight. I haven't thought about it. I don't plan on thinking about it for a while. I just want to kind of get back into the flow of my normal life, which I haven't been able to experience in over a year now, and get back to work and spend time with my girl, not having to think about the stress of New York. And I'll deal with that down the road. But as of now, I just want to get back to the simple, basic things of life that I enjoy the most, and that's just being around my family and being around the people I work with and those I love the most.
All right, well,
I think you can tell. I was just going to say, Cam, as you listen to Jonathan talk, and he'd certainly testify in his own defense, and you can see why the jury acted the way they did and as quickly as they did as you listen to him.
absolutely, absolutely. And Mark, let me ask you, I guess, sort of a hypothetical question. If Mr. Ryan did try to get his gun back, how easy do you think it would be?
Not easy at all, but that's not even a road I want to even go down at this point.
Yeah.
But I don't think it would be easy at all. Not here.
Jonathan, any vacation plans in the Big Apple in your future, or do you think you'll be visiting other parts of the country instead?
No, right now vacation plans is definitely not something I'm thinking about either. Financially, you can imagine this has been going on for a year. It's taken a burden on me, not just me, but my family and my girlfriend as well.
Yeah.
We're a blue-collar family. We've pulled together to make it work. And vacation is staying right here at home right now here in Florida. I'm blessed to live in a state where most people want to go on vacation to. But look, I have nothing against New York City. It was, after all, it was 12 people who told me that I was an innocent man and allowed me to walk. So I think the world of the people up there, and it's just a tough law that probably needs a little reform.
Well, Jonathan, again, congratulations on the verdict yesterday. Mark, congratulations to you as well, sir. And
Thank you.
any advice for folks who may be traveling to Manhattan besides, check and make sure that you're not bringing a firearm into the city?
Yeah,
Leave it
make
at
sure
home.
You check the laws. Do your research. Be smart. Be aware. Consciously be aware of what you're doing at all times. Don't take anything for granted. That's my advice.
All right. Jonathan, thank you again, sir, and enjoy your weekend with your family. Mark, thank you so much, and I look forward to talking to you again soon.
All right. Thank you, Cam.
Thanks very much.